Well, we're on our way to the Heritage Museum of Montgomery County today. We sent them an email a while back and made an appointment, and today is our appointment. We're going to go in there and check it out. We're going to bring you guys along with us.
We just had lunch at the Honor Cafe nearby, just a couple of miles from the Heritage Museum. It is a veteran-themed, veteran-owned restaurant, and if you're going to the restaurant, it's a good stop for a little bit of history.
Hello and welcome back. If it's your first time here, I'm Scott.
And I'm Allison.
And we are
Jarhead and Ginger's Journey.
We're full-time RVers. We do destination videos, tips and tricks, and all things RV. That sounds like something you'd like. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and come along on our journeys. This is the Strake Gray oil field house here at the museum.
This was built in 1938, and Harvey Lee was the first Strake superintendent, so this was his house.
It was moved from downtown Conroe. It was about 2 or 3 blocks off the main square, and it got moved here 16, I think they said? 15 or 16 it was moved here. The oil field was a big part of the history of the Conroe area. So it was also intertwined with baseball because all of the different companies that were out here getting the oil had a baseball team and they all played each other, which is pretty interesting. So let's go in and take a look.
Here we are in the kitchen, and this refrigerator is original to the home. The stove here is a replica. Here's a picture of the family. Looks like they're having them a good dinner. And take a look around the rest of the room.
We're in what would be considered the living room, I guess, of the Strake Oil House. And on the wall here, they have an overview or a blow-up style map of the oil field. It says over here the oil field was 19,000 acres. There were many different companies that were out here pumping the oil. So 19,000 acres is quite a big area. And we just found out also that the house that we're standing in was actually ordered from the Sears catalog. Figure that. It was shipped out here, and they put it together actually on the oil field before they moved it here. The Great Conroe Oil Field was founded in December of 1931 during the Great Depression by Mr. Strake. Here are a couple of scale models of what the drilling rigs looked like at the time. And then also, if you look to my left here, you'll see an old mobile premium gas pump. Not exactly sure if it's the same one from the big Pegasus sign we'll show you in a bit, but it was definitely probably from the 40s or 50s, I would think. So this is a really cool room of the oil field area. So when they found the oil here, everybody in town came out to check it out. And look at all these people, all dressed up in like their Sunday best to come and check out the new oil field.
Now we're here in the baseball room. As he mentioned earlier, each oil company had their own baseball team. So that was their favorite pastime. And you can see that they have lots of memorabilia here.
This is the Superintendent's Office of the oil field. So after Mr. Strake made a little bit of money here with the oil, they moved a little closer to town. So this house was actually given to a Mr. Gray. You can see by the name tag, it's Clyde Dolly Gray. Apparently he was quite a baseball player, and he was also the manager of the baseball team for the Strake team.
Hello, I'm Doug Collins. I'm Assistant Director at this museum, Heritage Museum of Montgomery County, to be exact, which the name tells exactly what we are. We are a history museum of Montgomery County. Montgomery County being the third county that was formed in the Republic of Texas in 1837. And so we've got a long history. And this room will introduce you to some of the industries that were prevalent at the time that brought us from back to whenever the first Texians came to Texas, all the way through to where we are today, including our timeline wall across the back here that introduced you to things that happened way back in the Ice Age and so forth. And interestingly enough, whenever this gentleman came here, this is just say Farmer Jones, who was actually probably a plantation owner back in his time, and they came, and of course they were plowing fields and so forth, and they found a lot of interesting things. And fortunately they passed them on so that we could get them. One of them happens to be, this is a skull of a dolphin. It was found about 200 miles north of us. Now if you can imagine, 200 miles north of us was salt water, because that's where dolphins live. And today we're 80 miles from the Gulf Coast this way. Back then we were 200 miles in this direction from us. County is the birthplace of the Lone Star flag and of the seal. And we introduce you over into this room over here to Charles Bellinger Stewart. Charles Bellinger Stewart was a doctor. He was a medicine man. He was also evidently a good designer, because the second president of the Republic of Texas, a gentleman named Marabou Lamar, who was contracted him to design the flag and a seal, which he did. And there's a funny little sign over here that shows that when Dr. Stewart gave it to Marabou Lamar, he laid it on his desk, and Marabou Lamar said, "Oh, I love it," and he signed it. But he signed it upside down, as you could see on the side. And that particular document is in the land office in Austin.
Here in Gallery 2, they feature the movers and shakers of Montgomery County, starting here with this man, Isaac Conroe, the founder of Conroe, and which is the most known city here in Montgomery County. Well, also Montgomery, but we'll get around to that. Willis is where the Thousand Trails here is, and this is Mr. Willis. And you'll see some of the other prominent leaders of the county, all the way around to Jack Johnson. He was the very first heavyweight champion. We're here in the general store area of the museum. They have here set up just like an old general store that was at the oil field camp. And in this room of the museum, the children are usually, when it's not pandemic times, they're encouraged to touch in this part of the museum. This part of the room is set up like an old pioneer cabin. So you can see the pioneer kitchen, cooking over the hot stove. See some of the animal skins that they would use for clothing and for warmth. And a butter making demonstration. And just everyday life in the pioneer cabin. This gallery features a work of artist Mark Clapham. And this artist has such varied talent. It starts with sculptures. There are all of these dolls behind us. Everything in this case he made. So he also did paintings from pioneer to rodeo to wildlife, landscape paintings. So much talent, so many different skills. He was also the designer of Shasta for the University of Houston. Mark Clapham even designed clothing. You can see this Native American clothing here, as well as some of the Alabama Cushata clothing. Of this museum are Wednesday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and there is no charge. However, they are donation based, so donations are much appreciated.
Along with the donations that you saw a little bit ago, they also have the gift shop. So if you don't donate all your money, take a look around the gift shop. They got some good stuff. Let's go check it out.
This is the straight gray Roughneck Bunkhouse. This is where the oil field workers would sleep after their long shifts. The inside can't be filmed because of the double pane windows. It's too much reflection. But if you come here, you can take a peek inside and see what the interior of the bunkhouse looks like.
Well, if you're still here, thanks for sticking around to the end. We'll see you next time on Jarhead and Ginger's Journey.